Good. Wow, I'm kicking things and starting machines abruptly. Good evening, everybody. Welcome. Let's see. All right, YouTube is live. There we go. This is how it should work. I had traveling beyond borders earlier today for my weekly show on African American Collective, and everything technology just broke down. And nothing worked. So this one, answering quickly and rapidly, is a gift. So let's get right into it. Thank you for everybody who's been showing up and watching and commenting and doing all the things. Thank you for being on board this train, this flight, this journey with me. I am super, super grateful. Thank you. Um, let's jump right into today's conversation. And today I'll be talking about our favorite thing, one of the most popular conversations today. We are all impacted by this one way or the other, directly or indirectly. This conversation is happening. It's happening. It's here. I know you're wondering, okay, what exactly is this one about? First of all, before I get into what I have for you today, if you have not subscribed and you've been watching, please go ahead and subscribe. Thank you to everyone who has. Numbers have gone up, subscriber count, the viewers have gone up. I've seen a lot. I have a lot more views than I have subscribers. That means some of you are just gathering the knowledge and not supporting the channel. Please subscribe. All right, go ahead and subscribe so we can continue to grow and the message pass reaching the people that it needs to reach. But thank you to everyone who has. I'm glad you are here and part of this community. Once we get past this phase, more things will be rolled out to continue to give value and serve and be in cahoots together. So it's going to be the 40-year celebration is not just for the birthday, it's an all-year celebration and beyond. So we're building from here. But I'm excited about the journey so far, and I'm looking forward to continuing. Another highlight I want to talk about, again, as many people who have been following this journey know, on the 25th, that is when I actually turn 40 of this month, I am going to be doing a TEDx, giving a TED talk, and I'll be speaking on belonging capital. You have to join, you have to come around for that to see. But I started rehearsing or practicing for it. For the first time, I just read through the script yesterday, and it's long. And so I need to step down and but I need to double down and I get on my practice and preparing. But I think it's going to be a good one. I know it's going to be a good one, so I just need to do all the things that I need to do to be fully prepared for it. All right, let's get into today's gist. And again, if you're just joining, I'm doing this, countdown to my 40th bed, and I'm sharing lessons, very practical lessons that I've learned, things that have helped me, mistakes that I've made, and just anything of value I can share to help the next person not have to navigate or go through the same thing. So it's real lessons. I'm telling real stories and sharing lessons. That's really what it's about. No gatekeeping, just give value and hope somebody, one person, two people, 10 people, 40 people get value out of this and are better for it. So again, everybody who's supporting, thank you. All right, quick question for everyone. Now, like I said, this is a topic that everyone is has an opinion about or has an emotion about. You're either excited about it or you are afraid of it. I think you probably know what I'm talking about, and I want to give you a framework in this conversation that will, help you just sit above the noise and maximize the situation and the world we live in today. All right. So when you hear AI, you get it already. When you hear AI, within the context of your career, what does it make you feel? Right? And that's the question I want to lead in. What does it make you feel? Do you feel excited? Do you get anxious? Is it both? So let me know in the comments what you feel when you hear AI. And I know it's mixed feelings because a lot of people have had, companies have downsized aggressively in the last year because of adoption of artificial intelligence. And so some people hear AI and they are worried that, okay, hey, this is going to be something that's coming for our jobs. Some people have leveraged AI to build businesses, to duplicate efforts, to hire, basically kind of what people were doing with virtual assistants. Now you can hire agents to do some of the things for you. And so for small business owners, business, it's a godsend. And so it means different things for different people. And then for some people, they're flat out like, this is the devil. Don't play with it, don't touch it, don't mess with it. I have a word for those people as well. But yeah, so let me know how AI makes you feel. But I want to lead with my bold statement: AI is not the enemy. Artificial intelligence is not the enemy. In fact, every major technology wave since the Industrial Revolution has displaced some jobs and created far more. I mean, for people who are adopted through every major tech revolution, it's created more opportunities for those who are adopted. The history shows it, the data shows it, right? And so I want to show you some, professional postures that I want you to take towards artificial intelligence, right? One of the things I don't want you to do is, refusal, right? That's a posture some people are taking. They're just ignoring and avoiding AI tools. And the outcome of doing that is progressive displacement. Basically, you are ignoring it, but it's creeping into your day-to-day life. It's creeping into your job. It's creeping into the fabric of our lives, and your refusal to acknowledge its existence, or adapting to the reality of it. You're going to wake up one day and realize you are behind, your skills are out of date. I think I talked about this a little bit yesterday, and I referenced the conversation I was having with my wife, and we're talking about some people that we knew who are very excellent developers, great at scripting, PowerShell, some of these things. And now, like, I'm doing a project. I've done a couple of projects that have required some complex PowerShell scripts. I don't like none of that. I don't like. I know fundamentals of PowerShell, but I have never been a PowerShell developer. I've worked on these things, built them out using leveraging artificial intelligence, right? And so you wonder, for somebody like that, what the future holds. Somebody who has spent all this time immersing themselves in learning a skill, in learning the technology, right? And suddenly that skill is becoming obsolete, right? And so if you refuse to see what this is becoming and how it's going to affect you, you're going to realize that, hey, the things that made you special are now going to be this new technology is able to do it as proficiently and sadly even better than you could. So where does that leave you? That's why we need to, if you don't get with the program, if you continue to ignore its existence, what will happen is that progressive displacement, right? So that's the first posture you can take, is refusal, or ignoring it. The second one you can take is dependence. This is also dangerous, right? That's where you begin to outsource your judgment entirely to artificial intelligence. Some people don't think anymore. They have a question, you send a short email, they go and use AI to read it, and they reply, general reply with AI. And then you can read the reply and know this is not you. Like, this doesn't sound like you. I've met you in person, I've had a conversation with you. This is not how you sound. It feels very ingenuine, or not very genuine, if that's a phrase, if that's a better way to say it. Right? That is the danger of, you know, artificial intelligence, or not, over dependence. The people are sourcing their judgments. Every email, every design, every text message, you have to run it by a platform, a tool. You can't send a quick reply because you have to run it, and then the day your ChatGPT hangs, you're stuck. And the outcome is loss of expertise, right? No more credibility, like I said. And so that's the danger of that one. And then the third posture is disintegration. Integration, and this is where you combine your human expertise, your human judgment, and then your domain knowledge with AI capability, right? That's where I'm trying to get you towards, where I can leverage what I know, my expertise, I can bring my experience, and I still have judgment, discernment, all of those things that are only accessible and available to a real person. And then you integrate AI skills, right? And what happens is exponential production when you're able to do that, right? who you are becomes multiplied. So now it's you, but on steroids. That's the power of artificial intelligence, right? It's multiplied outcomes, multiplied outputs, and still market differentiation because you are still you. It's still you, but now on steroids. It's still you, but in multiplied form. So the real authenticity of your voice, the authenticity of your production, it's not lost, right? Versus the person who just says, "Hey, tell me this," and they don't put any thought into it. So that's where we want to be, okay? But what you don't want to do is be one who is ignoring its existence, or on the other extreme, totally surrendering your existence and being fully dependent on artificial intelligence. That's dangerous. All right. So there are irreplaceable human elements that AI cannot replicate. All right. So for those who are worried about the future and what becomes of us with how fast artificial intelligence is evolving and growing, until that day comes, it's never. And again, you have to realize, as much as people talk about and rumor mongers and fear mongers want to say, hey, this is taking over the whole world, agents are acting autonomously, all of that. These things are still machines. They are still powered by servers. They are still code. If you create any AI agents, you still need servers for them to run. You still need to have cloud storage. You still need to have your AWS accounts, all those things. So at the end of the whole thing, human beings still control the stuff, right? No, we're not going to build the thing that will send us into extinction. I know that for sure. That is, human beings are innately selfish. We're not building anything that will send us out of existence, right? And it's now an AI world, and we are what, right? So there is not going to come a day. I mean, already there's regulations that are going to start coming as these things begins to advance, and get to certain levels. You see regulations at global scale. More global conversations are already happening. There's a lot of talk around AI governance, and so you would see it's almost like nuclear capability, right? There is restrictions on, you cannot have this. It cannot become this powerful. You can count on that to be the case, and that's my strong take. It's never going to get to a place where we are completely irrelevant in the human ecosystem. No, I'm telling you, like, it's AI going to be the machine and be the powered by the machine too. It's not going to work. And so for people who are afraid of where, there's always going to be a human component to this, right? Human expertise, human judgment. AI's ability to innovate is still born out of humans. It's a human innovator. AI does not innovate. It only is able to synthesize data that's available to it. Who fits in the data? Humans, persons, people like you and I, right? And so AI can't replicate humanity, cultural intelligence, ethical judgment, creative vision, lived experience. I'm talking through certain things that I've been through in my life. AI, except I tell AI, it doesn't know. It's only going to make things up, right? And so it's very, very important to know that, and to see that, hey, this is not something to be afraid of or to compete with. It's a platform that I can leverage and then get ahead and stay relevant with the times. I've given this example, and I'll keep shouting it until they hear me. Right. I remember at the beginning and the foundational stages of social media, then back home in Nigeria, um, everybody was getting on Facebook. It wasn't a high five, it was high five. I think I remember high five, even before Facebook, and there was other ones, the Yahoo Messenger for Yahoo for email, Yahoo Messenger, all of those things. But there was a group of us who opposed, and I say us because I'm a part of. I individually did not oppose this. I was fascinated by the internet and especially social media, but the church as an entity was opposed to social media. And we can go back and look up the tapes and see there was a clear, people only highlighted, a lot of pastors took platforms and their pulpits and highlighted only the negatives of social media. And we didn't embrace it on time. And I feel like that's not embracing it on time left that lane open to a certain group of people and excluded. So basically, we came late to the party. Now every church is on social media, which, let us know, every church, every business, you have to be on social media. You have to be on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram. Because that's where your members are. People are more online than they are offline. So you have to meet them there. Pretty much every church, 90% of churches in industrialized areas do online services. They have a component of an online presence. So not just having your website and be on social. Now you are streaming on Facebook. You are streaming a whole service on Facebook. The same Facebook that people tell you stop staying on Facebook, go and face your book, right? And so it's you don't want to come late to the party and then be a late adapter or adopter when you could have been a participant from the beginning and actually contribute to the ecosystem, contribute to its development because the early adopters for social media at the time are the ones who send feedback, right? They're the ones who, the developers, like when updates and new features in tech, for software engineering or software architecture, how do they come up with updates? It's customer feedback, user experience. They are harnessing the data constantly. Like you're always using it, you're using an application, you're on the website, and you get this or send your something breaks and asks you to send your feedback. All that is gathered, and that's how they build. Okay, they know, okay, this feature is not functioning well. They release an update to solve that. And that's what updates are. Every time you apply updates to your laptop, to your phone, if you read the release notes, you see exactly what issues they are resolving. They are getting feedback from users and then they are enhancing those functionalities. They are making them better. When they release a newer version, they take into consideration user experience, customer feedback, and then they build to solve those things and make it better, right? So you see a lot of companies are constantly collecting feedback, constantly every time you go on, where any of these major platforms, you do a small act, and then next thing you have a survey. How was your experience? Rate us, tell us how it felt like they are aggressively gathering this data and using that to make it better. That is where the role we could have played. We could have been more if we had embraced social early, maybe during the times the feedback loops were initiated, we could have voiced our concerns around the morality clauses or any of that, the exposure, right? We could have been a louder voice at the beginning. It's my personal thought and my opinion. Then that we came late, and so this thing had become what it had become, and we didn't have the chance to be a part of the initial architecture of it, right? The governance, the functionality. Now now they're adapting it for they build it and then we adapt to it to use it in churches and religious settings. But what if we had adapted early? Would there have been more churchified versions of this thing? So that's my thoughts. I'm just rambling through and saying what could have been if we had been early to adopt this. And so I'm saying don't do the same thing for AI. Let's not come late to the party and then come from behind when it's anybody who's just getting into AI now is playing from behind, as it were, right? But it's not too late because nobody has this thing figured out yet. There's still a lot of innovation. Every major platform, every major tool, Claude, ChatGPT, Copilot, Gemini, and the rest of them, all of these platforms, DeepSeek, Grok, Perplexity, all of these platforms are still innovating. Every day they're announcing something new. If you are a member, if you have account on any of these platforms, every day there's a small pop up somewhere saying check out this new thing we're doing. So they are still at the phase where they are still enhancing these platforms and making them better, right? They are still building these things. They are still trying to, and it's a lot of competition for market share, functionality, all of that good stuff. So yes, you're not, I'll say it's late, but it's not too late. We can still be in the conversation. We can still, we can still get in the game and still be relevant, right? In how this thing is, the future of this, in the future of artificial intelligence. So please don't be one of the aloof people or the over dependent folks. Let's see how can I leverage this thing to optimize myself, my work, my ministry, right? Imagine the amounts of work you can get done. Your ministry, a lot of the time, one of the things, if you're starting a new business, if you are in ministry, I'm the part of ministries at different levels. Right now I'm serving in a church, and we're smaller churches where we're a growing congregation, and so it's not one where there's unlimited funds and every dollar you want to make stretch. Imagine what if we can have agents automating certain functionalities, right? For a pastor, how many hours you spend doing research and looking for reference materials. Those things are so easy to get now, right? You can look into context and get deeper in your word study research, right? With leveraging artificial intelligence. And so these things can be used for our advantage and to make us optimally efficient and effective. And so for anyone who is on the fence, this is me kicking you out of that place and saying get off the fence, right? And for immigrants, my fellow immigrants navigating life in America, as an immigrant professional, you actually have a natural advantage with artificial intelligence, right? Because AI should be adaptable. Guess who adaptability is our second name? Us, right? The adaptability that's built through, cultural transition, career reinvention. Heck, everybody, people, I've not seen people who pivot like us when it comes to just, okay, I don't think this is working. Next thing you're here. I've seen guys go from tech and next they are nurses. And I've gone from people who are nurses and next they're doing cybersecurity. And you're wondering, wow, how do you do that? That is wild. But that is who we are, just resilience and flat out gangster. And that's why I love our people, right? And so those unique abilities become our superpower. Those things, that ability to reinvent ourselves mid-flight, mid-career, navigate. That's the superpower for AI. That's our superpower. We can help this. Like we are experts at navigating systems that are not designed for us. That mental flexibility is what AI integration requires. That's your advantage. That is why you should get into and accept and adopt this. All right. Now, since I started this 40 days to 40 challenge or conversations, I've always had a personal story around any topic I talk about. So let's talk about my AI experience. Again, I've said it 1,000 times. I'm a database engineer. Started my journey database administrator. I've been in that area, in this space for the last since 2012. Still do. I train. I teach. I still work as an engineer. And still work as an engineer. Do that quite a bit. Even though community service and social impact is calling my name and ministry is dragging me, I still do tech. I'm still a tech guy, and I love it. Not complaining, not mad at it. It pays. It's I can't be mad at tech at all. I cannot be mad at SQL. I cannot be mad at Microsoft. Those guys have paid me well. All right, I digress. But since the whole gist around AI became popular, it was again just like everybody was trying to figure out. Okay, it was first news. This ChatGPT and Google is intimidated, and then chat became a big deal. And then we started seeing, well, can this thing do SQL? How does this, can I use this for my job? And so I started testing it out, right? And I realized, okay, you can download XML, the XML for like an execution plan, and then do the analysis inside ChatGPT, and it will give you more detail than you care to have. Studying execution plan is a wildly, it can be easy and it can be the most miserable thing you do because you're trying to look at branches and diagrams and all over things. Any SQL person knows what I'm talking about, right? I'm looking at that. It can take, one of the things we do when we're troubleshooting failures is you are getting these error messages and then you are looking at codes and trying to figure out what does this mean. You're going to the logs and you're looking through logs and looking for symptoms that point you to an issue. Now you can take these logs and you know have a conversation with a chat gpt, a co-pilot, and it explains what is going on without you having to strain your eye to understand what's happening, and it will give you steps, right? It's almost like the thing I'll send my students to go check on YouTube. Now you don't even have to look for the video and find the right video on YouTube. These things are giving you step by step. This is what's happening and this is what needs to be done. And then you can test out some of these things in your test environment. And then if it works, you can go implement it in production. See how easy life has become, right? And so the things that would take you hours to troubleshoot, the things that would take me time to look into and figure out, okay, what exactly is going on. especially when you are in a situation where you don't have access to say monitoring tools, fancy dashboards that break down exactly what is going on. When I've been in environments that had that. Best places to work. Life is easy. You go click some things, see a report. This is what's happening. You go solve it. Having AI becomes a blessing, right? And I can tell you how just adopting artificial intelligence has become, just has made my life so much easier. The one thing again for me is, the more I use it, I realize, okay, now one has to be careful. What do I feed this thing? Because they are also these things are, they're large learning models. They are learning based on what you feed it. I don't want to share proprietary things, right? And so that's where the responsible use of AI comes in. And that's something, again, as a database engineer, our bread and butter is security, it's privacy, it's things like that. And so data governance is big. And that's something that it's helped, just again, speed of troubleshooting, being efficient in getting work done. You run into bottlenecks and quick troubleshooting. Like you can take the symptoms, have a conversation with this guy, becomes your partner in troubleshooting. And I'm finding things quickly. It's the last cohort of class I taught, I leaned into this heavily. I was showing my students, my recommended platform for SQL for Microsoft platforms. I recommend Copilot because it's Microsoft, it's Copilot. They own the product, it's optimized for their products. That's my thought process. And I'll spend time, and I took a lot of time to show my last cohort, my last set of students, this is how you can leverage this for doing research, for investigating failures, all of that. Don't even talk about for people who are trying to redo their resume, what that will do for you. You're trying to get your resume ready and start applying for jobs, all of that. But for me, it's been just speed of troubleshooting, leveraging these platforms. For my Microsoft SQL life, I am a Copilot advocate, right? Copilot, I use that one, because again, Copilot is also a lot of the new Microsoft platforms that in fact have Copilot integrated into them now. In the last conference I went for Fabricon, SQLCon, there was a lot of conversation around that. So Copilot is literally built into the management studio infrastructure, and so you can actually from within your VS Code or any of those platforms analyze a script, generate new code from Copilot, and it's mad how AI is a part of the work now. So I always for my Microsoft technologies work, I recommend Copilot. But there's a lot of great platforms. ChatGPT was a pioneer for most, and so it's still good. People have beef with ChatGPT for different reasons, some political, but there's other conversation around ChatGPT being a yes man and cozying up to you and just accepting the things you say and all. ChatGPT is a great platform. It's able to do a lot of things. Using it as a thought partner. I've used as a thought partner, as an idea partner, to banter and really fine tune ideas. It works great. Gemini was the other person that I started my another dance with. I still use it because we have the Google Workspace account for nonprofits. As part of our nonprofits thingy, I got into Gemini. It's been great. The people swear by Nano Banana as part of Gemini. I've used it before. I haven't overused it. Again, I'm not a big picture guy. I'm a big picture guy from the color of big picture, but I'm like taking pictures, photos of myself. You get me, right? I have done one photo shoot my whole life that I can remember. And so that's how I am with taking pictures. And so I haven't overused Nano Banana functionality, but I've used it before. But again, ChatGPT, I like the ChatGPT's new image feature. I think it rivals Nano Banana, but again, I haven't really gotten into Nano Banana like that. So I'll still give the edge based on reputation to Nano Banana when it comes to image generation, but just general banter research. ChatGPT, it's a good place to go. When it comes to documents, formatting documents, golly, Gemini kills it. I love using Gemini. No matter what I build, where I'm bringing it to Gemini to organize it, it will format the documents, put together everything. Like because I'm doing a lot of, with the African American Collective, I'm creating a lot of documentation. We're doing a lot of those, building our proposals, and all of that. Gemini has been an asset. I get this finely formatted document and then I throw it to my staff and get somebody to do a letterhead, put it on a letterhead, and it's ready to go. Like that's how powerful. So when it comes to documentation formatting, Gemini by far best tool out there, right? And then you talk about another tool that I've fallen in love with. My wife introduced me to this. I knew, but I never got to, and I didn't start doing a dance with it. Is Notebook LLM. Incredible for doing quick research. Like you can build out your own library, and then it's able to synthesize thoughts for you. You can submit documents to Notebook LLM, and you can submit documents, websites, and then do analysis based on that. It will generate podcasts, it can generate uh, um, presentations, it can generate quizzes, all manner of things. Notebook is one that a lot of people are still sleeping on. I don't see a lot of people doing work with Notebook, and they should. But presentations, I use the presentations tool a lot. Even when I prepare, when I do, so like I do, some months I'll do Bible study in church, for example. Like this last month I just did Bible study, and I'll share what I do. So I will do my preparation, put together my notes, my outlines, everything. I'll put them on a Google Doc, upload them to Notebook, and use Notebook to generate my PowerPoints. And then maybe present like this finely put together PowerPoints. It's incredible. And so I'm leveraging this thing for every aspect of my life. Well, not every aspect, but anything work, ministry, business related. There is that AI component. Last week, I started writing an AI adaptation process of policy for my staff. We've adopted Gemini as our official AI platform. Again, because it's governed, we have the paid version, within because of our status. And so I'm like, let's use this, and that way we're consistent in our language. So organizations are, because I'm thinking companies are adopting this thing. There's AI adoption policies, there is AI integration, initiatives that organizations are doing. If you want to play with these guys, you have to learn. You have to see what they're doing and then learn, right? Learn, be followers of them who through faith and patience have obtained the promise. All right. I hope somebody is getting inspired. There are other platforms, were just introduced to. I don't even want to get into the agentic conversation of this for automating platforms. I was introduced to Claudebot and OpenClaw, and then Visual PRD. There's so many cool things that I still want to learn and explore. Like I'm such a seeker, and I'm excited about learning things. It's just that this you have to do the work. You have life. If you leave me alone, my ideal life would just be a researcher, just research and teach and just get into what's new, and it's fun. Anyway, that maybe eventually I'll still end up living a life like that, be a professor, just teach and read and teach and impart knowledge. But anyway, so there's so many platforms and tools out there. And recently I have just um, found a new AI bestie in Claude. Claude is incredible. Especially with the documentation, the natural language, the way it sounds, it's excellent. The way they did the language, the way it's, But I also started looking for a platform. I was looking to do a lot of research-based work. You're trying to, if you're one who is like myself, we're actively creating programming and doing things like that. And so you want to look at the data, you want to look at context, you want to do some market research. My wife and I are always coming up with new ideas, we're always thinking through what's going on, how we can change the world. And so you want to validate those things. Claude has been an excellent partner in those banter. And so almost becoming the ChatGPT replacement in some way, but it does way more for me than Chat was doing. Um, I will tell you, and I'm going to confess, I told this to my staff and my leadership team. It just redid our website for the African American Collective, totally vibe coded. I built it myself. I remember when I first started, I paid a lot of money to somebody to get this thing done for us. And it was never done to my satisfaction. And I sat down for a week and just went back and forth between Claude and Horizons, the Horizons app on Hostinger. And I'm telling you all the things, go do it for yourself. Just going back and forth and tweaking and adjusting. Yes, you pay for tokens and all of that, but the cost of a web developer to tokens. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? But what I also have, it's giving me is like, hey, at least up until we get to the level where we have the resources to staff this, or pay an agency. I'm not stranded by, like, we don't have a program coming up and I can't go and update the website, or we can't, it's not up to date with certain things, right? Today we were having conversations with a potential partner, and they were saying, hey, people that want this grant, they have this functionality and they have this functionality. And guess what I'm doing? I'm going and I'm investigating these websites and checking them out. And by next week, we're back again vibe coding the crap out of the site building and extending the website's abilities, right? The funny part was when they were giving us feedback, she was like, your website is great, it has that, it tells all of this. I'm like, if only you knew, right? So AI is awesome. It has its pros, and like everything, every advancement in tech, it does have disadvantages. The fear when it comes to, you know, the future of work is valid, but you don't control. You focus on what you can control, right? Focus on what you can control. I was talking about this earlier today. Instead of being afraid that AI will take your job, how about leverage AI to create another job that will replace your job? You get what I'm saying? So, can I use AI to make money so that I become an income replacement? So that if AI does take my job, it's also helped me replace the job. You see my point, right? And so that's a positive spin that you can put to this. But again, people who embrace this will find ways to leverage and be a part of the future, and not play from behind. People who stand still and refuse to adjust are going to just realize this the cloud has shifted and we were left behind. The Bible says, and I'm bringing this back to the Bible. I know you're wondering, like, today I've not been very preachy, but I'm bringing it back to the Bible in Proverbs 24, verse 3 to 4. By wisdom is a house built, and through understanding it is established. True knowledge is rooms are filled with rare and beautiful treasures. Wisdom is not the refusal to engage with new tools. Wisdom is discernment. It's knowing what to use, how to use it, and what should remain entirely human. All right. So again, I've given you a lot of information, a lot of tools that I've used and how I've leveraged artificial intelligence. Look for how you can leverage this platform. I'll tell you, my mom is almost 70, and the things she has been able to leverage AI to do, like I've shown her Gemini, and she's going crazy with it. She started with ChatGPT. She's done all of this work. I'm careful. I don't want to introduce her to Copilot here because she just goes up. But she's the kind of work she's been able to produce in the last couple of months, just leveraging, working with AI. Like again, she's almost 70. She's right now full-time caregiver, taking care of my dad who is ailing. And in her downtime, she's able to leverage artificial intelligence to stay productive and create. I'm talking about create meaningful stuff. I don't want to give away her secrets that she's things that she's working on, but she's done impressive things. If she can do it, then you can, right? You can. So just have that open mind. All right. So if you're wondering where, what's an accessible starting point, how do I get started? I want to make this very actionable for you so you know what you can start doing. All right. So I'm giving you 3 AI starting points, for people who are not yet integrating AI into their work. These are 3 places I feel like you can start from. At least ease yourself into the AI utilization space. And again, some people definitely don't like this. I've seen people who just like, nah, this is not happening. But unfortunately, that's the world we live in today. So first way to start adopting or integrating AI. Number one, start with writing and communication. All right, so use AI to draft, refine, and sharpen your professional communications. It will not replace your voice, it will only amplify it. Again, what you don't want is the over-dependent person where you don't even put anything down. Build your email out and then let AI modify the language, or make sure that it's conveying the thought that you want it to convey, right? But don't start from AI. No, no, you write the email, go into ChatGPT and type the email the way you would, and then feed that, so that it's one, you're training your platform to know your voice, and how you reason. So you're training your platform. How what? But you're also leveraging AI. You're not losing your voice. You're amplifying it using AI. Now you're making sure it's saying what you want it to say. Because what will happen is it will give you suggestions. It will say, well, maybe this might be a better way to say what you're trying to say, and you will read it and you're like, oh, okay, I see. And then you can go back and like, nah, that doesn't sound like me. Let's change it. Right? That's how you use it when it comes to writing. Instead of just generate an email for me and tell them I'm going on break. Okay, it will give you something generic, and then people will read that and say this doesn't sound like you. All right, so first of all, start with communication and writing. That's the first place I recommend. Your emails, your reports, those places, proposals, um, just official documentation. Just again, be careful with this one. Don't feed AI, you know uh, um, private information, personal identifiable information, and all of that. Treat it like it's everybody's going to see it. That's how you want to treat it. Like, I'm exposing all of this. Number two, I just had to thought some people and tell their whole life story inside of AI, right? They go and tell AI, well, my wife is not talking to me. What should I do? Number two, start with research and then synthesis, right? So again, communication, writing and communication. Number two is research and synthesis, right? Do some of your research. Use AI to rapidly understand new topics, summarize information, generate options. You can then evaluate with your expertise. I just talked about how I've used this for research, how I use this to even with Bible study, even with sermon preparation for ministry, leveraging AI for speed. And some days you have to put something together quickly. You have your thoughts, you have your research, but you need to find the right scriptures. You need to validate certain thoughts. Because one thing, if you're in ministry, you don't want to get caught in an error, right? A lot of times we have our own personal thoughts around things. You need to validate your thought against God's word. All right. But I'm not about to start going through to confirm what does the Bible say about this? Okay, this is a thought. Feed it. Bible. Is it, oh, okay, no, I think I have this, before you go preach something that is wrong. So you can leverage this thing as a force for good. It works 10 times, 1,000 times faster than you. It will research 1,000 times faster. Don't be hostile. Leverage this thing. It's a force for good. You will get a lot done a lot faster, if you are able to leverage this to your advantage. All right. So for research and synthesis is number two. First one, communication and writing. And then the third way to start integrating this into your life is start with your workflow, right? Identify the most repetitive task in your current role. Research whether an AI tool exists to automate or accelerate it, right? What's the most boring, repetitive thing you do every day? If it's writing reports, generating reports, is there a tool that will do that? That already exists. How can I leverage that? Whatever it is, just again, find ways. It's slow, small baby steps. And now you're building proficiency. The goal is not to use AI for everything. The goal is to use AI strategically, so your human energy goes to the work only you can do. You want to use your skills to do the things that only you can do, but it's almost like a CEO. You don't want to be doing everything operations. Strategy is your job. Relationships is your job. Networking, right? Looking for funding for your company. That's your job as a CEO. You don't want to be stuck in emails and stuck in engineering and non-revenue generating activities, right? Same thing here. You are the CEO of your life. If there's ways to automate it, if there's ways to make it easier, if there's ways to make it faster, let AI be your staff, and you focus on the things that only you can do. All right. And so that is some suggestions or recommendations on how you can leverage AI as a force for good. The goal is again to use it strategically, so your human energy goes to the work only you can do. So, question for you, like I always do: what is one task in your professional life that you think AI could help you with right now? Let me know in the chats. Let's see what everybody else is thinking. What is one task in your professional life that you think artificial intelligence can help you with right now? Maybe you've been fighting AI, but now you're thinking maybe I can leverage this platform or these tools for good. Let's hear in the chat what your thought is. Now, somebody might be asking, is using AI ethical in professional work? Is using AI ethical in professional work? Well, the ethics of any tool depends on how it is used, not whether it's used, right? Using AI to produce work, using AI to produce work you represent as entirely your own without disclosure raises integrity questions. So it's important. You see, even in social media, you see them, they have that, tag that puts, this is AI, like an AI tag to highlight that this is an AI. You use AI to build some of this, right? It's important to disclose that, right? Use AI as a tool that amplifies your expertise, and the way professionals always have used technology, it's not only ethical, it's wisdom. It's wisdom to leverage these platforms, even in professional work. Now, a lot of organizations are beginning to, like I mentioned, introduce some AI policies around AI use. Make sure you're familiar with what's for your organization. Since this is professional work, what is their policy for what's their AI use, policy? What does responsible use of AI within the context of your employer? What does that look like? And stay there and use that as your guide. If they have restrictions on what you are able to do or what you're allowed to do, what data you are allowed to feed the AI, that becomes your guiding principle. But I think I mentioned this yesterday. We had a literacy workshop in one of these incredible organizations here in Atlanta, and we had the privilege to speak to some of their staff. They had some of their people who are who are African descent, and we're talking to a lot of them. One of them was a software engineer, and we're asking how AI has changed his, how, the nature of work for him and, him being a developer. And he goes, it starts with Copilot. There's no code that starts from scratch anymore. It starts the first draft of every code it starts from Copilot. Then I modify it to make sure it's meeting the criteria for what we're actually trying to do, right? That's the power of AI. Again, when you talk about can I use it professionally, that's a good example of professional use, but in alignment with organizational standards. That is their official platform that their company has accepted is Copilot. So I feel like I've done a lot of promotion for Copilot today. Copilot better come sponsor this series. All right, Copilot, do what you do. YouTube, show them this clip. All right, I think this is a good place to wrap it up today. I hope you've gained some value. I know you've gained some value. Please make sure you share this with somebody else who needs to have these questions answered, who needs to, who has questions around, use of artificial intelligence and what its potential is. I think it's a force for good if used properly. So let's leverage it. But again, share the video, like, subscribe, do all the cool things, comment. Let me know your thoughts and let me know if you have any questions around any of those things and these topics that I've been talking about every day. I'd love to hear your opinions. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I will love to chop it up with you all. But thank you for rocking with me. Tomorrow we continue. I'll be talking about build your brand before you need it. Let's talk about building brands, especially for somebody who said they don't like taking pictures. Now I'm talking about building brands. Let's talk about it tomorrow. It's going to be it's probably going to be the most strategic section of the week. So come ready to get into it. I will see you tomorrow. Let's close in prayer. Father, we thank you for today. Heavenly Father, I ask, oh God, for everyone navigating, this season of technology disruption. I pray that you give us the wisdom, give us the grace, give us the discernment to know how to approach this. For anyone who is still afraid of these advancements, who is buying into conspiracy theories, Lord, I pray that you help us. Yes, we know that the enemy is at work and there's agendas beyond what we can see. But you are the God, you are a creative God, you are the God of all creation, and you have made us creators. Help us, oh God, to discern direction, to know instructions, to know how to leverage advancements to your glory. Thank you, faithful Father. Thank you because you're helping us. We give you praise, we give you glory. And thank you for strength to continue this and stay with it. I know lives are being changed, and I pray that anybody who is in need, anybody who is in any kind of who's going through any setback, maybe somebody who's lost their job because of AI adoption, I pray that you attend to them, that you open doors of favor, doors of opportunity for them, and I pray that you help them find that thing that they need to attain real and good success in life. Thank you, faithful Father. We love you. I give you praise and glory in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Thank you, everyone. Long session, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I will see you tomorrow by the special grace of God. Till then, till next time, let's go.